Hey guys, it's Marion from Attire and Beyond in Highland, New York. I'm going to be doing my second reading today, and it is going to be on chapter 1 of Anyone Can Live a Happier Life. You'll see me looking down a lot. I apologize, but I am reading word for word, but I will have my opinions, etc. So let's see how long we can go. I think that this is, I'm not sure if it's a shorter or longer attitude, I was going to say, because that's the name of the chapter. So let's just go. Attitude. What if you knew you could change your attitude and in turn your life would transform because of it? I want to also say, excuse me. Excuse me for the background. I'm in my store. I'm sitting behind my desk. Okay. Would you do it? Or at least give it a shot? Let me repeat that since I interrupted myself. What if you knew you could change your attitude and in turn your life would transform because of it? Would you do it or at least give it a shot? Quote from William James. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude of mind. I agree with that so much. 100%. Okay, so excuse me while I itch my nose. Okay. If you have a healthy attitude, you can get much further in life. In order to change our attitude, we need to change our thoughts. Learning to bounce back whenever there are hard times is crucial. Pay attention to your thoughts. It is imperative in living a healthy, happy life. And just in case you didn't catch the first part of this, I started because I was going to read the book for myself because I need it right now, and I figured I'd share it with you. I asked one of my best friends what she would like to see in a good personal development book. One of her answers was how to connect with other people and how not to react when speaking to others. I totally get this. She also was concerned with how to find a better way to speak to people so they do not take what you are saying the wrong way. I've noticed a tremendous change over the years in this area with her, but I imagine it is still something she struggles with once in a while. A lot of us do. So, with that in mind, my question to you is how is your attitude? Do you make sure you answer people with kindness? I still catch myself sometimes not doing that when I know. That's why I am reading this, because I need to be reminded by myself. I believe attitude is everything. You get hired because of your attitude most of the time. You can get fired because of your attitude most of the time. And people are or are not attracted to you because of it. Of course, enthusiasm is part of attitude. Next page. Would you select a friend or partner for life if they had a really bad disposition? Or are you going to look for the light-hearted, friendly, personable, enthusiastic, confident person? The one who answers with love and kindness, not defensiveness or bitterness. Think about that. Here's a story from Patty that explains a change in attitude and how it made a tremendous difference in her life. Tremendous difference in her life. Title, My Eureka Moment, written by Patty Simone. Many years ago, I had a eureka moment that literally changed my life. I can't tell you the exact moment this occurred, but the outcome was utterly awesome. In a nutshell, one day I realized I had control over how I reacted to people and situations. And the difference in my reaction and my attitude was a game changer. When she told me the story, I had to add it. The scenario that prompted the realization and subsequent change. I was part of a civic women's group, and one woman in particular was very irritating to me. I didn't like anything about her. She wore old-fashioned clothes, her haircut was outdated, she seemed so serious about everything, and had a strict schoolmarm air about her. A real downer. Of course, there were other women who felt the same way, and occasionally we'd rehash some of the things that annoyed us at the end of our monthly meetings. One woman was wound a bit too tight with her observation of parliamentary procedures. Another one said, blah, 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 etc., blah, blah, blah. I always felt uncomfortable after these negative discussions, like there was a bad taste in my mouth. So I started observing how some of the other women interacted with each other, how the calmer, upbeat, and more diplomatic ones smoothed over the rough edges when one or more people had a combative tone. These people fostered harmony, not discord. They recognized the two or three camps, allowing them time to have their say and making compromises so we all came to an agreement. And stuff got done. So back to the eureka moment. At some point, I realized the obvious. I was not going to change the people who annoyed me. I did, however, have complete freedom of a choice to change my focus, my thoughts, action, words, and hopefully outcomes. I could look past the silly things that distracted me and focus on our shared mission. I could also really open my eyes and see more things from a positive perspective. So instead of focusing on the negative and what we did not have in common, I made an active choice to focus on the positive and the many things we did have in common. This is such a great story because I had to do this with some family members many years ago. And it's amazing how you can change a relationship. And I talk about this somewhere in the book. I haven't read it in a while, so I don't remember where, but I talk about this type of thing that happened in my life. So you'll hear it later on. So when this did happen and she started seeing what they had in common, etc., she writes, I could look past the silly things that distracted me and focus on our shared mission. I could also really open my eyes and see more things from a positive perspective. So instead of focusing on the negative and what we did not have in common, I made an active choice to focus on the positive and the many things we did have in common. I just reread the same line twice, so now you get it. The almost instantaneous effect of my newfound thinking attitude was amazing. The meetings became a whole lot more productive, and my new positive point of view helped me reassess other people and the way I interacted with them. I wanted to be in the camp of fostering harmony, not discord, so we could all be more productive and get things done. Am I a perpetual Pollyanna? Nope. I get irritated by stupid, unfair, or inaccurate stuff all the time. When I'm really steamed, I'll write a note, a letter to the editor, a blog post. And within my family and circle of friends, I regularly vent about a bunch of things. People who don't teach their kids basic manners, companies with idiotic or sexist ad campaigns, etc., etc. But day to day, I'm choosing to be on the upswing. I infuse my business doings with enthusiastic and productive news. She does. Advice and tips, especially within the growing global community of ambitious women listed on Women Centric. Give it a whirl. Being positive is contagious, and studies show having an upbeat attitude is way healthier too. Be a change agent with a sunny disposition and watch great things happen to you and the people around you. And I wrote, love it, love it, love it. You go, girl. Keep that positive attitude. Share it, live it, own it. Attitude is everything. Years ago, I had the pleasure of conducting mini lectures for spas and fitness centers. I created my Attitude is Everything seminar. At that time, I was in the best shape of my life and I was rocking the world, mind, body, and spirit. Or at least I thought so, and that's all that counts. I was discussing the up and coming seminar ideas with my sister, and she said, "Why don't we go to the spas and see how they treat us individually, kind of like the premise of Undercover Boss today, except we weren't their bosses." At the time, I'm sorry, I lost my space. At the time, I was fitness model material and might have even been when I was modeling sportswear. One of the problems the owners presented to me was how she thought certain employees were treating people differently, but didn't know how to prove it. My sister had weighed more than I, and she suggested, I didn't because I would never. She suggested we see how different they treat each of us as individuals, one being seemingly more health conscious than the other, even though she worked out every morning and always will be more flexible than I am. They didn't know that. So what I was saying, because I just read it kind of funny, was that I was a personal trainer at the time, and my sister, um, who was heavier than me at the time, used to be more flexible than I was. I couldn't believe it. So it's not like she didn't work out and wasn't able to, but they didn't know that. I presented this to the owners of the centers and they loved the idea. It was the only way to let the employees know how they were portraying themselves to others and how to change it. It was also a great way to acknowledge and award those doing a great job, because that's my favorite part. So we visited the 3 centers. The first center, the first staff members made us wait incessantly. They treated me totally different than my sister. When one staff member spoke to us, she never looked at my sister once. They continued for an hour and a half to treat us differently. What an experience. Think about how that attitude towards someone overweight, finally deciding to begin a fitness routine, would hinder their results or even halt them from starting a program. It was, and this is just me talking, it was amazing at how different they were to both of us. I just couldn't believe it. Here you have someone who's already fit, who can do things by herself, and it's her that you're paying attention to. It didn't make any sense to me. And again, this is not putting anybody down or anything. This is just sharing the experience that I experienced when I was looking for my Attitude is Everything. The second told us they couldn't see us for more than a few minutes because they were closing and we would have to come back the next day. Even after explaining it was the only time we had and were very interested in joining the club that night, there was still a good 20 minutes before they closed. They hardly gave either of us the time of day. All they cared about was going home. Potential members did not matter to them at all. With that attitude from employees, businesses fail. For sure. Third one was locking the door as we ran up to it. They were just starting a party for an employee's child, and one of the employees still graciously opened the door, showed us around, and treated us both as if it was the middle of the day. She even told us we could experiment with the equipment if we wanted. It was 7:02 p.m., and right on the door, it stated in no uncertain terms, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Did she have to do that? No. Was she the owner? No. This is an example of attitude being everything. She was treating this business as if it were her own. She was also treating us like human beings. And both the same, I have to add in. Am I saying you have to stay late at work to make a good impression? No. I am just saying to give you examples of the difference in attitude. Sorry, I lost my spot again there. The third employee will be noticed and hopefully acknowledged throughout life for her attentiveness. Keep in mind, none of the employees knew we were on a secret mission to save the business by seeing who had great attitudes and who needed improvement or possibly needed to be put on probation. On the day of the lecture, suddenly the employees who needed improvement were cowering in the back of the room, almost ducking behind people. The ones who were pleasant, accommodating, and had a friendly attitude were right up front. They knew they had nothing to hide from. From the back, I heard one yell out, "Oh, shoot, I am in trouble." She was right. Another one came up to me and bawled me out for tricking her. I kind of don't blame her, but bawled me out for tricking her. But these were the employees whose attitudes, excuse my French, sucked. The employees who had good attitudes were very humble and accepted praise gracefully. They were actually happy to see me. They thought it was great. When you have a good attitude and you know you are doing the right thing, you see life differently. You know when you treat people right or not. I truly believe that. I really do. Attitude is everything. It's important to remember when interacting with anyone in life, whether it is family, friends, or anyone you come in contact with. Everyone had the opportunity to come and speak to me privately after the lecture in case they had any questions. Wouldn't you know it, the enthusiastic ones with good attitudes came up to me and asked if I thought there was anything they could do better. As if. They were just great. One of the staff members with a bad attitude came forward to ask if she was one of the employees I was speaking of. When I said yes, she was not really shocked and said she wanted to change. That felt so good knowing that. She asked for advice. Bravo to her! The others didn't even feel they had any kind of negative attitude or judgment issues. These are probably the men and women who will go through life thinking everything happens to them and they are not responsible. They will also have a lousy disposition and attitude until their viewpoint about life changes. Let's talk about attitude in relationships. Spousal, parental, siblings, friends, family, coworkers, and so on. That's the end of this reading. So this was reading number 2. That was the chapter on attitude, and there's still more to go, but we will continue that in another video. So again, I'm Marion. The book is Anyone Can Live a Happier Life, and this is just free readings to help you to help me. I'm from Attire and Beyond in Highland, New York. See you soon.